So in the last 24 hours, if you've been on Twitter, then you have probably seen a lot of posts from users posting about their new account that they have made on Bluesky. Now, Bluesky, for those that are unaware, is pretty much a Twitter competitor. It is supposed to be another alternative to Twitter itself, just like Threads was, which, let's be real here, nobody talks about Threads no more. It was popular for like 1 week, and that's being charitable, more like 3 days. And then everybody said, nope, we're not using Threads. No shot, bro. We're just going to stick at Twitter. And so you fast forward to today, and now you have a situation where you have users switching over to Bluesky, or at least in this case, more, at least from what I've seen, artists and VTubers. They have sit there and have said, you know what? I think I'm ready to put in the towel and say, let's move on to greener pastures and see where it's like on the other side. And for those that are wondering why, it's because of AI stuff. There's a post that popped off yesterday, and let me just read it to you. Now, for some of y'all watching this video, the name Pirate Software might sound familiar to you. He is pretty well known in the community. He's pretty well known overall as a really fucking big creator. Don't think he needs any explanation. But yesterday, he made a post that garnered a lot of attention and brought to light something that has changed within Twitter's TOS. He says, this new Twitter TOS update is concerning to me. They have added lines allowing content posted to be used in AI training models, specifically calling out allowed use in generative AI. The image on the left is the previous TOS from October 9th. The image on the right is the new TOS from October 16th. This platform's best use continues to be for shitposting. And so then he sits there and he links it at the bottom, which we'll check out in a second. But then he highlights the part right here where it shows the change. And so you can sit there and see about examples from Pirate Software. The left side, it's nothing that mentions generative AI. Then on the right, they added it, which of course is their way of saying, hey, gotta train our AI on something somehow. Hey, y'all guys are posting on, you're using our service for free. Well, some of y'all are using it for free, and then the rest of y'all, hey, it's not our fault y'all want to give us money for nothing. That's pretty much the crux of this situation. Take a look right now. It's pretty spicy when you sit there and start looking at it. It says, you agree that this license includes the right for us to analyze text and other information you provide and to otherwise provide, promote, and improve the services, including, for example, for use with and training of our machine learning and artificial intelligence models, whether generative or another type. So yeah, it's pretty much said right here. They like, hey, generative AI, we need to train our content off something. We're getting slapped in the wrist because we're trying to train off other content. Why not just do it here? That's pretty much the crux of it. And so of course a lot of users are rightfully upset by it. But realistically, this isn't the first time it's happened. I've actually made other videos talking about the same exact situation when I made a video talking about the Facebook, Instagram situation. And then I also talked about the state of social media, which I'm going to go a little bit more into this towards the later half of this video. But the reason I was talking about this one is because Facebook and Instagram have their own situation with the whole generative and training off your data. For those that might not know, I'll educate you real quick. So when you go to Facebook's own privacy page, here's a interesting tidbit. It's pretty interesting if I say so myself. It says generative AI models take a large amount of data to effectively train. So a combination of sources are used for training, including information that's publicly available online, licensed data, and information from Meta's products and services. For publicly available online information, we filter the data set to exclude certain websites that commonly share personal information. Yeah, okay. Publicly shared posts from Instagram and Facebook, including photos and text, were part of the data used to train the generative AI models, underlying the features we announced that connect. We didn't train these models using people's private posts. Oh, hey, that's fine, right? Oh, hey, it's all good now. They didn't use their private posts. They only used the public ones. Doesn't make it any better, dog. That means nothing. That's fucking crazy to me that they put it like that. Like, hey, yeah, it's not our fault you made your data public. You used our platform. It's a public post. You gave us free real estate, so we're gonna fucking use it to train off our shit. But hey, if you happen to make it private where no one could see it, then you know what? Hands off. We're not touching it. We promise we're not touching your data. If it's private, we appreciate that and we respect it. No shot, bro. Facebook has been caught lying so many times in the fucking past that there's no shot that this has actually any weight to it. I've seen it so many times in fucking comment sections of videos that call out this shit, and people are like, why aren't you giving Facebook the benefit of the doubt? If they said it, then they mean. No, they don't. They don't mean it. Fuck no, they don't mean it, dog. These are fucking billion-dollar corporations that do shit and they do slimy shit, and then they keep doing it even when they get fined and they get caught because they put money aside to pay for shit like that. There's a reason why they get caught doing this, just because they know they can get away with it. All they gotta do is pay a small fine for it and go on with their life, and then they do it again. There's no shot that they're not. Just because they say it in here doesn't mean it's true. That's like saying because Adobe says they don't train off your data or they don't train off any of your content for their generative AI service, that, you know, their pinky promise that they're not actually doing it. Says who? Have they been audited? Do they got a third-party auditor that confirms that? I don't know, bro. I'm just saying. And so then they finish off by saying, we also do not use the content of your private messages with friends and family to train our AI. We may use the data from your use of AI stickers, such as searches for a sticker to use in chat, to improve our AI stickers model. And so, yeah, all around shitty. Pretty much, again, do you use an Instagram? Using Facebook? Unless you want to make your artwork private so no one can look at it, which kind of defeats the purpose of posting on the social networks, you might as well just leave the platform then if you don't want them actually training off your data, because that's pretty much what they're saying. They're saying it's free real estate and that there's no other place for you to go other than here. And if you're going to be here, then we're going to train off your shit unless you make it private so nobody can see it, which again defeats the purpose of being on these social media apps. Now, this wasn't the only thing, barring the whole Instagram, Facebook shit. The Twitter generative AI stuff was just part of it. Another reason that kind of pushed people to start saying, hey, maybe it's time to go to Bluesky is this right here. Is Twitter said, hey, our block button, it's fucking useless, dog. We have a block button for no reason at this point. But it says block is changing soon. If your posts are set to public, accounts you have blocked will be able to view them, but they will not be able to engage. For more control over who can see your posts, you can still protect your account, aka making your account private. Which again defeats kind of the whole fucking purpose of all this shit. What's the point of a fucking block button if people can still see your shit? The whole point of a block button is so people can't see your shit. Who gives a fuck if they can't engage with it? They can just make another account and then they engage. And of course, that's the same brain dead, brain rot type of excuse that people make. Oh, well, if they can make it just another account to sit there and see your stuff, then who gives a fuck, right? No, like this is fucking unnecessary. It's supposed to make it fucking hard for someone to go out of their way to go and look at your shit. Yes, if someone's determined enough to go view your shit regardless, yes, they will go and make millions upon millions of accounts to go and view your shit. But this is supposed to be a deterrent. This is supposed to sit there and be such a fucking hassle that someone's not going to go out of their way when they get blocked to go look at your shit. And of course, if you've been on Twitter, then you know that when you look at shit in incognito mode, then you don't really even see the latest posts of a user anyway. So you have to make a new account if you do want to see the latest and greatest from a Twitter account, especially one if you've been blocked from. And so following that situation, of course, Bluesky came in and they decided to take the W here. They said, at Bluesky, we take online safety seriously. You want to block someone? You can. It's your experience, you can customize. It says, in addition, you can also subscribe to block lists maintained by users you trust, detach quote posts, and then more. So I think a good thing about this one actually is the fact that if you see a bunch of AI users on Bluesky, which I don't know if it's allowed or not, I think it is, then you can sit there and create a block list and have it be maintained by a bunch of users in the community that will sit there and just continue to add a bunch of AI users to that list so that you never have to see them on the platform, which I think is a pretty great thing. I think having block lists actually a really good thing, if I'm being honest. That's actually really good. And then they continue down here by saying we recently published a post talking about anti-toxicity features on Bluesky. And then they also had this other post that says, welcome new Bluesky users, because of the whole post that Twitter made talking about how they're now going to change another feature of the block button. Now, for the sake of this video, and since it's on brand, I'll at least put my Bluesky here if you want to follow. I think that Bluesky has such a fucked up URL that I have always been very critical about. And I mean, I get it because it's a decentralized platform. So it's a lot harder in the sense of them, I guess, trying to make a URL that's going to be simple. I think Bluesky slash my username would be like the way to go. But instead you got bluesky.app/profile/ my username.bluesky.social. I think it's the most fucked up URL on this whole goddamn planet. I think it's fucking stupid, but hey, it is what it is. Now, for those that are wondering my thoughts on this, I don't really know if Bluesky is really going to take off, if I'm being completely transparent. All these social media apps that always try and take space or try and take a pie from the social media pie it never really goes anywhere. Bluesky has been trying to build their following over the past year. Is it getting somewhere? Sure. But is it to the point where as you, an artist, would actually sit there and say, you know what, I'm not using Twitter anymore? No, fuck no. There are not enough users on Bluesky to really justify that to this point. It's almost like another situation with Kara, where you have a small set of people who are all pretty much like-minded, which is great, but you don't really reach the casual people, the people who don't give a fuck, the people where you want your shit to just be thrown in their face and hope that maybe they will commission you or they'll check out your art or they'll follow you. And that's what really matters. I've talked about this in my social media video, but a lot of these social media apps, obviously, first of all, the algorithm fucking sucks for most people who are small artists or who just don't have a following at all. Or even if you do, sometimes you get shadow banned, like on Twitter. I see it all the time. And you're kind of just sitting there posting your shit to avoid, and obviously affects a lot of artists. I see it all the time, or else they wouldn't care if they got shadow banned. When your livelihood depends on actually making income off your art and trying to get commissions, then it kind of matters where you post your art, and the generative AI stuff doesn't really sit there. It's not going to be enough to deter artists off a platform. And that's why I think that Bluesky will ultimately fail. It's because you need people to actually leave a platform. You cannot have people say, all right, we're going to Bluesky now, but by the way, I'm still going to be posting on Twitter as well too. Can't work that way. You need to actually leave Twitter. You need to remove your Twitter, deactivate it, sit there and just make it just neutral and sit there and have nothing literally posted ever again. But if you keep posting on it, sit there and say, hey guys, I got a Bluesky, but we're still trying to get my following there, but I'm going to keep posting on X for the meantime. It's not for the meantime. You're going to keep posting indefinitely. It's not to say that this is going to be for everybody, but for the artists who rely on commissions and getting paid off their art as their livelihood to pay the bills and pay the rent, you're not going to leave Twitter. You're going to stay on there because unfortunately that is where the algorithm does succeed in getting art pushed to a lot of casuals who will want to follow and support your work. And Bluesky just isn't there yet, at least from what I've seen. Not to say that it can't get there one day, but currently, to sit there and leave Twitter, especially if it's something that you rely on for your money, it's not really going to be a good idea. You're not really going to succeed. And that's pretty much the crux of it. And because you can't leave and you have to keep posting on it, Twitter's not going to really suffer any damage of people going to Bluesky because they're still going to use Twitter as well too. For Bluesky to be effective, you can't use Twitter. You just have to actually leave a platform to make a dent to a competitor. And I don't see that personally happening. I would love to be proven wrong. I would like to see a competitor take off because I think Twitter is the most toxic, fucking horrible place on this goddamn planet. But the other thing as well too that people need to remember is Twitter is like whether people like to admit it or not, is the de facto central hub. Unfortunately, the sad reality is until Bluesky can actually get big influencers, get reputable names, people that genuinely is known by fucking casuals, people like that, once they're on Bluesky, and if they can get them to promote the fuck out of that platform, then yes, I believe it can actually succeed. But you need people with actual pull to really get people to go on your website and to stay on it. Threads already tried it. They had a bunch of fucking big name celebrities that stayed on it for like a day or two, or maybe 3 or 4 at most, and people were checking it out, and then they left and they all went back to Twitter. And so, that's not even a sure-proof way either that your social media platform is going to take off. You really have to have Twitter pretty much shut down for it to really fail and Bluesky to succeed. But I don't think that's going to happen either. But could be wrong. Anyways, those are just my thoughts. Again, if you want to follow my Bluesky, link in the description below. Don't know if I'm going to be using it that much, but I'm at least always willing to give it a shot. So I might start trying to post some art of myself on there and see what happens. Maybe it might be the best decision ever. But personally, I'm kind of skeptical. But that's just me. Also, I just want to clarify that I'm not out here hoping that alternative social media platforms fail. Far from it. I want them to succeed. It's just that I'm typically pretty grounded in reality and I just say it how it is. And this is literally what it is. I'm not out here saying that Bluesky can't succeed and that it's never going to take off. I know it seems really negative when I sit there and say that, hey, realistically, it's probably not going to take off unless Twitter dies. But I'm being honest, it's really the crux of it. Twitter has made so many fucking bad decisions. I have been the biggest Twitter hater since Elon took over. I have made so many videos on my main channel talking about how this should kill the platform, but it doesn't. People are drawn to the platform no matter how many bad decisions it makes. You can sit there and get a new bad decision today and people are like, oh fuck, another bad one. Oh well, staying on Twitter because that's literally where everything happens. Anytime something happens, whether it's an apology from somebody or something news launching or some big information is dropped, it's always on Twitter. Until something like that can happen on Bluesky and only on Bluesky, and then it makes its way to Twitter later, and so people have to go to Bluesky first, then the platform has a real chance of actually taking off. But until that day comes where you got big names on there and then news actually breaks on Bluesky first and then it makes its way to Twitter, it's probably just not really going to take off. And for some people, that's going to be all right. And I'm not here to sit there and say it's bad for those people. Hey, go ahead. You enjoy it. Go right ahead, dog. But I'm just speaking from a place for artists who do need to make their money off art, and that's their livelihood, and they need to pay the bills, and why they're not going to leave it. Because I know there's going to be people who are wondering, why aren't they leaving? Why are they still using Twitter? Shouldn't they be going to Bluesky like everybody else? And the reality is they can't. It's where they make their money. There's no other place they can go. And if this is where they got to stay so they can make money, yeah, sure, the generative AI shit and training off all of that fucking sucks. But bills need to be paid, and Twitter is where all the casuals are at, so they have to stay on that platform. Anyways, you made this far into the video, consider giving a like, subscribing to the channel, leave me a comment what you think. Join the Discord if you haven't yet. Have a great day. Yeah.